we're here to talk about vocal health.
Hey.
So whenever you hear vocal health, what do you think about?
Looking after your voice.
Yeah, which then what a lot of people mean is, yeah, well, I don't sing, it's okay, I don't need to.
So I'm going to ask you this. How often do you use your voice in the day? On the phone, talking to clients, talking to kids and students? Anyone who's using their voice for the majority of their time to help them with work is a professional voice user.
There you go.
So you need to look after your voice.
You need to look after your voice. How many of you work in offices or you're in a classroom and you're like, oh, I can't speak anymore, it's gone? Or like you've had a holiday and when you go back to work after a holiday, after the first couple of days, you're like, oh, I've got no voice left. I've done it. You're using your voice all the time. Yes, you're not singing, but you're still using your voice. And you've got to look after it. So Becky delivers the most amazing vocal health workshop that's gone out to businesses in the corporate world to help people look after their voice, both with when they're presenting, because a lot of time when you're presenting you think you just shout louder because you're in a room. You don't just shout louder because you're in a bigger room. There's all different techniques you can put into place. So we thought today we'd give you a few little little snippets of what sort of training we can offer and some things you can try at home to help look after your voice, particularly when it's the bad weather and all that sort of stuff as well, plays havoc with it as well. So yes, we're going to give you some little tips today about how to look after that voice.
First thing, if you're using your voice on a day-to-day basis, as a teacher, call centre operative, recruiter, solicitor, let's see, I'm getting bigger and bigger.
Bigger and bigger, yeah.
Did you realise if you speak for 40 minutes, that's when your voice starts to tire. And that's when it starts to get damaged. And I'm doing it like this because I don't mean the extreme sense. But you've got to think about running a marathon.
Yeah.
Because essentially what's happening is the vocal folds are coming together like this. So it's little claps constantly. Can you imagine clapping your hands for 40 minutes and thinking how they would feel?
I get tired after about like 2 minutes at the theatre at the end of a show, don't you? You're like, oh, my hands are starting to sting a little bit now.
I mean, the clapping at a theatre I'd probably say is more of a shouting thing, but imagine shouting for 2 minutes. That's essentially how that's going to feel. So your voice is going to tire after 40 minutes, just in general, when talking. So you need to think about putting breaks in. So it's with everything, a little bit of rest here, a little bit of rest there, means it can go for longer. So that would be my first top tip. And
that's not having a break because you're in the car driving to your next meeting, so you make a phone call and you chat to someone on the phone, because that's even worse because you don't realise how much you're shouting and raising your voice when you're on the phone in the car half the time.
No.
So it's actual breaks when you're not talking.
Yeah. So if you're a teacher, try and aim for, if you're going to be presenting on something for 20 minutes, do for 20 minutes and then hand something over so you can have 5 minutes of not using your voice. So that's giving the classroom something to do, so you can sit down and either just sit and be and watch, or do some admin things that you might be doing whilst they're doing their work and their independent side of things. But it's giving that voice a rest for 5 minutes. If you're in an office, if you're in a call centre, if you're a manager of a call centre and you're wanting to look after your employees, make sure you get your systems set up so their calls, after X number of times, their phone doesn't get a call for 5 minutes so they can have a break. Okay, it's going to hit some of your other records and your targets, but you're going to be looking after the well-being of your staff.
So tip number 1 is rest. What's tip number 2 you're going to give out today?
Tip number 2 is, my brain's gone dead.
She's probably because she's got like 27 billion in there, but so if your voice is starting to go a little bit, so you haven't managed to have that rest and you need it for the next day, is there a little tip to help with that?
So make sure you get some decent sleep. At the moment, I'm not getting very much sleep at all. It's horrendous. But I've got kids impacting that. That's a choice. But you need to be getting a decent night's sleep each night. That's when everything recovers. So things like the cells on your hands and the cells on your feet, those skin cells, they repair overnight really, really quickly. Don't know if you've ever noticed that. You can really hurt them and the next day they'll be almost fine. It's the same thing with your vocal folds. They're the same type of cells. They repair in the same way. So get a decent amount of sleep.
So if you can't get a decent night's sleep, what's another top tip? If you're going into work, is there something you can do in the car to help warm up your voice, ready to use it, or is that part of the top tip 3?
That is where you can do some sirening. And it doesn't matter if you're speaking or singing or anything, you can do some vocal glides to do that.
So what's sirening?
that's when you need to come and see me to find out more about.
Oh, she's not going to give that away today.
I'll tell you the hows on that one. I'll tell you the what's to do. You want to know exactly how to, because it's going to depend, and this is where it depends on the person.
Yeah.
So this is where the warm-ups and the way that you look after your voice and you warm up, and make sure you cool down at the end of the day. Cool downs are just as important, but they need to be specific to the work that you're doing. So if you're managing a large classroom which is really noisy, you're going to be using different things, and your warm-up's going to be slightly different to being on the end of the phone. So you've got to look at what you're doing there. If you're going to be doing lots of speaking or lots of singing, it's going to be different. It all depends on that. So it needs to be personalised and tailored. So if you're unsure on that, please see someone. Final top tip is, if you've had a cold or a cough for 3 weeks, go see a GP. If your voice is struggling and you haven't got a strong, and you've got something like laryngitis, that may be laryngitis, or if your voice isn't working as the way it should be, go see a GP. Get a referral through to an ENT, preferably a laryngologist, not a general ENT. There are some amazing ones down in London. If you're a professional voice user, you want to contact the likes of agencies like BAPAM, which is the British Association for Performing Arts Medicine. Although it says performing arts, professional voice users and spoken voice users use that as well, and they'll be able to guide you and direct you to the best people around in your area.
So we need to rest it, we need to get good sleep, we need to warm up and cool down and possibly do sirens, and then if there's still a problem after a serious amount, seek some help. But if you've got a team or you want a little bit more help yourselves, then get in touch. We don't offer an off-the-shelf package, like Becky's just said. She's not going to sit here, and I love the fact she did it, she's not going to say do this, because that might not be appropriate for you in your setting. So if you want to have a quick chat with us to come and learn how to look after that voice or use it more effectively so it can last for longer in whatever it is you're doing, just get in touch. Or we can come out to you, we can do stuff online, we can have a phone call, meet in person, whatever suits you. So yeah, vocal health isn't just for singers, it's for all of us that use our voices every single day. Take care, till next time.